means your mistakes are teaching you, not on the mistakes. Imagine we're sitting on a porch watching the sun go down, and you just told me about something you're beating yourself up over. I would lean back and tell you about a guy I knew named Elias. Elias was a mountain climber, not the professional kind, but the kind who lived for the weekend. He had spent a whole year preparing to summit a specific peak in the Rockies. He bought the best gear, trained until his legs shook, and studied the maps until he could see them when he closed his eyes. On the day of the climb, about three-quarters of the way up, he made a sloppy mistake. He didn't check the tension on a secondary line, his foot slipped on some loose scree, and he took a nasty tumble. He wasn't seriously hurt, but he lost his nerve, lost his rhythm, and had to turn back. For the next month, Elias was a ghost. If you grabbed a coffee with him, he wasn't really there. He was back on that ledge. He kept replaying the moment his boots slipped. He would stare at his boots in the closet and think, "You're the guy who fell. You're the guy who wasted a year of training." He was focusing on the mistake. And because the mistake was a fixed point in the past, he was stuck there with it. He was treating the mistake like a heavy stone he had to carry in his pack every day. One evening, he was talking to an old climber who had lost a couple of toes to frostbite years prior. The old-timer listened to Elias lamenting his failure and finally interrupted him. "Elias," he said, "you keep talking about the slip. The slip is boring. It happened. It's over. Tell me about the air." Elias was confused. "The air?" "Yeah," the old man said. "The air gets thin up there. Your brain slows down. You didn't slip because you're a bad climber. You slipped because you didn't account for how altitude stupid you get at 10,000 feet. The lesson isn't don't slip. The lesson is double check your gear every 10 minutes once the air gets thin because you can't trust your brain anymore." Suddenly, the light changed in Elias' eyes. He stopped seeing himself as a failure and started seeing himself as an expert in high-altitude focus. He didn't need to throw away the boots, he just needed a new ritual for the climb. The mistake was just the cost of tuition for a lesson he couldn't have learned in a book. Why this matters for you? When you focus on the mistake, you're staring at the bruise. It hurts, it's ugly, and it reminds you of the pain. But when you focus on the lesson, you're looking at the reason you fell. Maybe you moved too fast. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Maybe you didn't speak up when your gut told you to. The mistake is about your ego. The lesson is about your evolution. We're all just a collection of things we used to get wrong until we figured out how to get them right. Don't let the ghost of what happened keep you from the person you're becoming because of it. If you look at what's bothering you right now, not as a failure, but as a very expensive piece of advice, what is that advice actually telling you to do differently next time? Mistakes can be very painful, but don't let them distract you from the lessons in them.